Our S represents standards. Every grade level has a set of standards that are used statewide. Every state has their own set of standards. There are also a set of national standards that create uniformity throughout the entire United States. This way, if a student moves from one state to another, their learning expectations will still be aligned. Uniformed learning keeps students on track with one another, as well as benefits new and experienced teachers. Standards help new teachers by setting a path for what they need to teach. A lot of new teachers struggle with what material needs to be covered and how to cover it. By using the standards, new teachers will know what they are expected to teach. Then they are just left to figure out how they want to teach it. Standards also benefit experienced teachers because not only does it set the path for what needs to be taught, but it also helps them to keep up with current curriculum as well as keeps all teachers aligned for each grade. The quality of education will be the same for every student regardless of each teacher's experience. Standards also create expectations and concrete goals for students. According to Burke, the idea of beginning with the end in mind means establishing goals for students to meet and then designing curriculum, instruction, and assessment around the desired outcomes. Standards tell the students what they are expected to learn for each subject each year. If students know what is expected of them, then they are able to set concrete goals for themselves that they can work on throughout each academic year to achieve. Standards also allow parents to know what is expected of their students. This way, parents are able to reinforce at home what is going on at school. Parents and teachers can work together to bring success to their students.
Our T represents targets. Targets should be clearly stated and transparent to all. Students should be able to understand fully what they are aiming to learn and how they can work to achieve their goals. If we as teachers do not give our students clear guidelines and expectations, then we are not going to see the results that we are expecting. By having targets that align with both standards as well as students' personal learning goals, students will get the most out of their learning experiences. Targets are used by teachers to show students what the goal is or how to help students set goals that are achievable. The only way that a student can work to set goals for themselves is if they know where they are headed or where they are expected to be. Once students are aware of their targets, they can work to set goals for themselves. They can work to set goals, then use these goals to reach success. And while it is important for students to be able to set academic goals for themselves, it is also important for them to learn how to set personal, athletic, or long-term goals for themselves. For example, getting students to set their eyes on college and think about how they are going to get there is a way of setting a long-term goal. Even elementary school students can set goals for college. According to Davies, students recording their goals in writing were far more likely to achieve them. Students also need to be able to evaluate themselves in regards to their learning experiences. They should be able to determine whether or not they are meeting their goals, as well as the goals that have been set by their teachers. They can self-evaluate through reflection. By having target goals, students are able to see if they are able to achieve what is expected of them. If they are not able to, they can work with their teacher to reassess themselves and come up with a new way to achieve their goals.
Our A represents assessment. According to Davies, when we assess, we are gathering information about student learning that informs our teaching and helps students learn more. We may teach differently based on what we find as we assess. We believe that assessment has 3 main points. First, assessment should be ongoing. Teachers should be constantly assessing their students in the classroom. By assessing our students, we can learn more about what our students need in order to gain the highest level of learning possible. We can learn how we need to alter or change our lessons to tailor our students. By having ongoing assessment, teachers have a constant knowledge of where their students are at in terms of meeting their goals. Students' final grades should never be a surprise because teachers should be constantly assessing. Therefore, both teachers and students should be aware of whether or not the student understands the material. Second, we believe that students should always be involved in the assessment process. Whether this means that the students help to create class rubrics for projects and assignments, choose how they want to be assessed or how they want to do their project, or have the responsibility of record keeping. By having students be involved in the process of assessment, they are responsible for their own learning and they feel a sense of control over what they are working towards in the classroom. Student involvement produces confident learners who are able to work out details as well as identify their own strengths and weaknesses. Third, we believe that assessment should always be intertwined with curriculum and with standards. If your assessment strategies for your students were not strategies that were used in your curriculum, then your assessment is not valid. By aligning assessment with the standards, state and national, as well as with your curriculum, then students are given a fair opportunity to succeed.
Our N represents non-traditional assessment strategies. We believe that assessment can take forms other than traditional pen and paper tests. We feel that by having just pen and paper tests, students are not able to show their true knowledge of a topic, but more that they know how to pick out the correct answers from a list. According to Lutz, many people, including educators and students, hear the word assessment and think test. However, assessment is much more than that. It's a way to gather, interpret, and use information in many ways and at many times during the school year. Students should be given the opportunity to show what they know through a variety of ways so that every student is able to be creative while still demonstrating a sense of understanding. While tests do serve a purpose, and we do not feel that they should be completely eliminated, there are other ways to assess our students. For example, students can create art projects, make videos, perform a play, create a musical piece, do a science experiment or project, write a paper, make a collage or a poster, student-made tests, journals, or even something as simple as exit tickets where students can write about what they learned before walking out the door. We also feel that by using non-traditional assessment strategies, students will become more engaged in their learning experience. If lessons are exciting to students and they are able to be creative, bring out their personalities, and tie their work to their personal interests, then students are more likely to succeed. The same goes for assessment. If we can find ways to tie in assessment that is personal to our students and allows them to demonstrate what they know in a variety of ways that are exciting to each and every one of them, then the experience is going to become that much more meaningful to them. It will better shape them and allow them to demonstrate how they feel and what they truly know. If we give the same assessment type over and over again, then the learning experience and school in general are going to become very boring to our students, and they are not going to be interested in being there. By having experiences in the classroom that are relevant to our students' lives, students will feel a better sense of connection to the real world, and they will learn to apply the information they have learned to their lives. Our lessons should work to create experience in the classroom that our students can take with them out the classroom door and use in their daily lives. We feel that it is pointless for students to learn material at school that they cannot apply in the real-world experiences.
Our D represents development. We thought about development in a variety of ways. First, we thought about teachers working to develop strong relationships with both students and with the students' parents and guardians. It is important that teachers are able to connect with their students in class, as well as be able to talk over student progress and issues with parents. Strong relationships will help teachers to feel comfortable talking to the students and to their parents about what is going on in the classroom, as well as help parents and guardians feel comfortable coming to the teacher to ask for help or to voice concerns. Next, we thought about how important it is for teachers to work really hard to develop strong, well-prepared lesson plans. According to Kowchak, assessment decisions are also essential during planning because they help teachers align their instructions with important standards and objectives. If teachers are aware of the standards that they need to teach, then they will be able to create lessons that they are confident about teaching. If we walk into a classroom and we are not ready to teach, first of all, our students can sense that. It is important for teachers to be confident in their teaching so that students will walk away confident with their knowledge of the material. Confidence is contagious, and it is important to develop confident learners, and we feel that confident learners stem from confident, well-prepared teachers. Last, but certainly not least, we feel that it is incredibly important to set realistic expectations for our students. But by designing expectations that target our student learning goals, challenge them to grow, but allow them room for mistakes, it will tackle a higher level of learning and motivation to learn. If the material is too simple, students will grow bored and lose interest in learning. If the material is too difficult, students will become discouraged and will also lose an interest in learning. Finding the happy medium is a hard but doable task. In order to provide students with the highest learning experience possible, it is necessary to work to find that happy medium.
standards, targets, assessment, non-traditional assessment strategies, and development.
These are what we stand for when it comes to assessment and curriculum. Thanks for watching.